What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, man. Back at it with another review. And today, I'm giving you my full-length review of Kraven the Hunter. But before we get sexual, beginning of the review itself, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free. Number two, also maybe help with the YouTube algorithm, recommend it to more people, maybe they could join that. And do feel free to comment your thoughts on Kraven the Hunter down below. But before we get sexual, let's get right into it. And before we get into actual beginning of the review itself, let's give a quick plot synopsis, shall we? Oh my goodness, I don't know what's happening to me today. So, transition and choose them, yeah.
Kraven's complex relationship with his ruthless father starts him down a path of vengeance, motivating him to become not only the greatest hunter in the world, but also one of its most feared.
Alright, as for Kraven the Hunter, I had no clue what I was expecting. I was of the assumption that it was probably going to be a bad movie, but from the thing that kept me intrigued and had me maybe a little tiny bit hopeful, even though knowing full well it was still probably going to be bad, is the rated R rating. The rated R rating? Yes, the rated R rating. Anyways, but the first trailer dropped for this movie, I think, last year, and yeah, that was a terrible trailer. Then the second one came around, and I was going, you know what, this could be fun bad. Maybe it could be fun bad, and it kind of regained my faith in it, if I had any faith before. So no, I did not have any faith in it still, but I was going, like, maybe I can have some fun with it, especially since it's going to be rated R, and you're going to see some carnage candy fight scenes. And with that being said, let's just get into the actual review itself, shall we? Alright, the best thing by far I can say about Kraven the Hunter is the action sequences. I think the action sequences are decent enough. Are they like John Wick style, the best action sequences you'll ever see? No, not anywhere close. But they're still decent enough.
Scenes in here, like the opening of the movie, that's probably my favorite part of the movie. Then the fight between Kraven and Rhino was okay, but the wood sequence was pretty decent, though.
And unfortunately, they also revealed a whole lot of the best action sequences. I should have probably put that in the negative section as an actual negative part. But basically, the best parts of the movie, with Kraven biting someone's nose off, or him putting a bear trap around somebody's head, and him like absolutely demolishing a person with a tree trap or whatever, was all revealed in the trailers. So it kind of ruined the best parts of the movie. But then again, it was trying to hook the viewers in to see how, oh, maybe it's gonna be like that the whole entire movie. It's gonna be very carnage filled. No, it's only those sequences. But yeah, there's that. Another good in here, I have the performances of some people, not all of them. The only only three people I could see that they were trying their best to actually deliver a decent performance was Aaron Taylor Johnson did decently fine as Kraven. Russell Crowe, of course, is always doing his best job, no matter what project he is on. So he delivers another okay performance in here. And then also Christopher Abbott, who's going to be our new Wolfman in the Wolfman remake coming out in January. Hopefully that's good. I hope so. His performance in here too, as this character called the Foreigner, was pretty decent as well. I think he was trying, and Aaron Taylor Johnson and Russell Crowe were trying at least. So yeah, I think those performances were okay. I didn't mind them. Another one is the Kraven and Kraven's father out. What? Oh, yeah, I wrote down just in case if I forgot the names of characters for some reason. Anyways, another one. This is not really a good thing, but Alessandro Navala, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name, his performance as Rhino. He totally acknowledges the type of movie he's in, and the last thing I saw him in was Jurassic Park 3. I'm pretty sure that's all the only movie that we've seen him in since this. And he totally acknowledges the type of movie it is, and goes over the top with it. And I think it definitely works with the movie he is in. So I personally enjoyed him more as the Rhino over Paul Giamatti's Rhino, while still not being the best. It's still not a good performance, but he acknowledges the type of movie he is, and he's going over the top and stuff. Now that is the good done. Now let's move on to the mixed aspects of the movie, shall we? The character of Kraven's dad. Like, on paper, it should be good because it's Russell Crowe, and Russell Crowe's acting is decent in here. And there's a lot of stuff they do in these flashback sequences that I think it's kind of interesting in a sense, while not being all the way interesting. However, in the movie, he just disappears later on in the movie, and then he eventually comes back again. And it's just like, really? You totally wasted an Oscar-winning actor, may I remind you, in this film. So it's just, probably Russell Crowe wanted a lot of money, so they said, okay, yeah, you can pop up in a few scenes there, bud. Another mixed I have, probably the biggest mixed aspect I have, is Levi Miller as young Kraven. Okay, I don't know, this might change, but I don't know if that's his actual voice now, because the two things I watched him in are Better Watch Out and Pan. Those are the only two other things I've seen him in. And I can't tell if he's trying to do a voice for Kraven, or he's just doing that's his actual voice. So if that's his actual voice, I'll let it slide. But if he's trying to add something to Kraven's voice, I don't think it worked at all. And also in the young Kraven, this is basically just the young Kraven stuff. I think at first it had my attention, but as soon as it got to him getting bit by the lion, I went, yep, this lost me. So there's that. Rhino as a villain, I have another as a mixed. He's not a good villain, but he's guilty pleasure, so I guess he's a mixed aspect. And another thing, the mixed is, the final mixed aspect I have in here is the kills. Don't get me wrong, the kills that we saw in the trailers that I mentioned earlier are pretty good, but all the other kills are just basically standard. Yeah, there's nothing really different besides any of the kills, so there's not enough carnage candy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to move on to the bad, and have quite a few bad things to say. The dialogue. The dialogue in here is dreadful. And whoever wrote this script, man. Oh, boy. There's I'll allude to this more in the spoiler review that I will be posting tomorrow as well, but there's a point in this movie with Rhino where they make him do the weirdest stuff possible. And I go, what? Who wrote that? That is... It's don't get me wrong, it's hilarious how bad it is, but who wrote that? Another bad thing, the ADR. Is it as bad as Madam Web level? No. Madam Web level was terrible with the ADR versus on Ezekiel Sims, but the ADR here too is quite bad as well. Not nearly as bad, but pretty dang close, and you can tell with the movements. Like, here's an example.
I was hunting for the hunter. I could not find anything besides his tracks. And then I also saw the rhino.
See, point proven right there. That was how the ADR was most of the time. CGI and green screen. I hate to be a broken record because it seems as of late I've been mentioning this thing quite a bit in my Lord of the Rings reviews, but that CGI, the Hobbit reviews, I should say, but the CGI in that is a ton better than this. I mean, we saw a brief glimpse of Rhino in the trailers, but when you actually see him close up in this movie, oh my goodness, he does not look good at all in this movie. Green screen, there's a bunch of obvious green screen shots in here. Very bad, I remind you. Um, all the other performances, um, all the other performances weren't good. Weren't good. Maybe besides Chameleon, but for Chameleon, his voice lines don't even add up to the songs he sings in this movie. That's all I'll say. So there's a couple. He has the worst ADR. Calypso's involvement in the movie. The actress I don't think was trying in here. I think she fully wanted the paycheck, because I don't think she did really good in here. The Calypso's involvement was just, why was she there? She didn't even feel like a focal part of Kraven's story. So, yeah, it's another thing. How it drags later on in the film. So I don't know if I mentioned this earlier on in each of my reviews, but the first half, when it starts with Kraven's origin story, when he gets bit by the lion or whatever, and you have that opening sequence that got released to the public on YouTube, I was actually going, this could be fun bad. It keeps me entertained. But however, as soon as young Kraven gets bit, everything just slows down to crawl. And I was just going, oh, what happened? You had my attention there. And nope, not anymore later on in the movie. When the action sequences came back on, yes, they kept my attention. But everything in between, no. No. How long the film is. The film is 2 hours and 7 minutes. The positive thing about Morbius, which, to be fair, I'm more positive on Morbius than most people. I wouldn't say it's a good movie still. I would just say it's okay. I don't think it deserves all the hate it gets. But at least that movie's like an hour and a half, I think. Somewhere around that range. It's rather quick. This time around, it's 2 hours and 7 minutes. I think Madam Web is even shorter than this, which that's saying a lot. And that takes a lot to sit through a movie that is drags for very long throughout the whole entire movie. The final thing in here, so young Kraven's backstory, right? I won't give too much away because I don't want to spoil anything. But his little sequences that makes him turn into the supposed, getting warmed up to turn into the man he eventually becomes, they're literally just ripoffs of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man scenes from the first Spider-Man. And it's just, are you just trying to get maybe a cheap pop, possibly? Are you just trying to get maybe a cheap pop? Or was that on purpose? Or were you just trying to basically do a different story and change up some things to make it look different? Because it's still the exact same scene. Anyways, that didn't make sense. You'll know when you see the movie, if you go to see the movie. Anyways. But that is everything, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, let's bring out the toxic meter. Okay, for people that just want to bash the movie and go see it and laugh at the horrible dialogue and everything, it's a toxic goodness.
Yum.
But as a movie as a whole, I'll give it a toxic disappointment. I can't go quite toxic trash because it's fun bad. It is a fun bad movie, but while still being quite long. And the dialogue being quite horrendous. But yeah, toxic disappointment. Very close to toxic trash, though. Very close. It's not. Yeah, I would say it's better than Madam Web. I don't know if it's better than Morbius. I really don't. Anyways, that is just my thoughts on Kraven the Hunter. Be sure to let me know, and I gave it a C, by the way. I think I did. Anyways, be sure to let me know your thoughts on Kraven the Hunter down below. Did you actually love the movie and think it was a genius or something like that? Let me know all that down below, and with that being said, guys, stay tuned for my spoiler review tomorrow, and I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace.